As a leader, this time of year is really important to focus on your goals. You are getting so close to the year end. So today's episode, we're going to discuss the importance of your leadership to focus on your goals now. Let's discuss.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas.
Welcome to the Ask Denis episode. This is a freestyle episode where I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts, experiences, and insights from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey listeners, it's great to be with you again today, and in this Ask Denis episode, it's actually a really interesting time of the year. As a leader, this time of year is really important for you to focus on your goals. Why? Because you're getting quite close to the end of the year. And the thing here is this, is that for a lot of us, we are sort of tending to think about things. Why? Because we are 2 months to that end. 2 months. And in fact, it's probably about 1.5 months to the end of the year. And I'm talking about from a working perspective. A lot of people sort of go into shutdown mode. A lot of organizations go into what we call a brownout or blackout period. What do we mean by that? In an IT perspective, people may go into a blackout whereby they won't do any more production releases between now and the end of the year because they are wanting to make sure everything's okay. They're getting into the Christmas period. It will be busy. People are going to go on leave, so they want to make sure everything's stable. In another area, like in the grocers or retail, hospitality and things like that, for some of them, they may go into that what we call brownout period as well, whereby they tend to want to make sure that they are focusing on that retail, Christmas retail, right? And that's where the focus is, and they won't be focusing on anything else. Projects, initiatives, and things like that tend to go on hold or sort of just pause a little bit or just run at a slower rate, and their focus is elsewhere right now rather than those projects and initiatives. For some people, they've already given up. They've already stopped for the year, which blows me away a lot of times, and I think that the thing here is what's going on for them. Well, for a lot of them, they think, I've only got about sort of 6 weeks out of the 8 weeks left of the year. Maybe I sort of just take it easy a little bit longer now and then just sort of start again in the new year. And there are people like that right now. There are people like that thinking that right now. And it's quite interesting because there are some people in the world today where their seasons are, everyone's seasons are changing, but there are people in the Northern Hemisphere where they are going now from autumn and they're making their way into winter. Snow falls, it's colder, and so they are now starting to think about hunkering down, and so will they be doing things a little bit differently? Possibly. And then you've got others who are in the Americas where they're thinking about Thanksgiving, only probably 3 weeks away. And so they're starting to prepare for that now, and there's that side of things too. Then you've got others in retail, hospitality, and other businesses thinking about Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday kind of sales, all these kind of things coming up for people. So it's a very busy time, while at the same time, people are sort of trying to take the foot off the accelerator. Now, the thing here is this, how you finish is actually how you start as well. Most people talk about how you start is how you finish. I think it's both, and it's both ways around. So how you finish this year off is actually how you're going to start the new year. How you start the new year is actually how you're going to actually finish the year as well. And so it's actually important for us to think about these different things as we go through, because finishing now is really preparing for next year. So what are you going to do? Well, the big thing here would be for you to be very clear on what your goals are. And if you are working closely with your goals and you're revisiting them on a regular basis, that's a good thing. But how's the progress going? And then what do you need to do to get things over the line? So let's talk a little bit more about how you should be doing some things. First of all, I've got to say to you is, hey, make sure that you're in the right mindset, that leader mindset, that mindset whereby you're in the area above the line where it's actually in the valuable area, or of value, is useful and will help you move forward. For a lot of you, you could be below the line. So you're in that, what we call the interesting side of things. You're stuck in the weeds, the chaos and the dilemma. And the thing here for you is to get above that line, to get above the line of the area that it's of value, the one that's going to actually help you move forward. You need to make sure that you need to have the right mindset, the attitude of where you are going. For some of you right now, you may actually need to revisit your why, your purpose, your dreams, and things like that. Why are you doing what you're doing in your business today? And the thing is, it's not because, I'm here to serve a customer. I get all that because that's the experience and the service and everything that you're providing to a customer. But what is your purpose? Why are you doing this business? And if you're very strong on your why, then you know where you're going. And so you're going to put the foot on the accelerator even more so now. As I said before, but having clarity on your goals is really important. But the question is, where do you sit with them today? In other words, where are you with the progress to date? If you can understand where you are now and where you want to be at the end of the year, the end of the calendar year, right through to the 31st of December, not to the 24th of December because it's Christmas, but right to the end, if that's where your business is. For some people in some countries, they close down around the 23rd, 24th period because they are taking time out. Other businesses are working through. Christmas Day, they may be shut. Some are still open. But then for some leaders, they may be working, they may not be working. And so for you, it would be, where are you today with your goals? Where do you want to get to by the end of the year? And understand, what are the gaps? What needs to be addressed? And then what I'd like you to do then, or what you should think about, is actually how do you put a plan together to close those gaps, to get you closer to that goal at the end of the year. Then it's the old TMA acronym. Take massive action is what's needed next. And so for a lot of you right now, you might be going okay, and you might be coasting. Now's the time to revisit and actually put your foot on the accelerator. Now's the time for you to get out of that autopilot mindset and become the leader that is a deliberate leader and have a deliberate mindset. And then there's one more thing I think we all should do as we go between now and the end of the year, and as we put our foot on the accelerator to move along with our goals and being deliberate, and that is to have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Because the thing is, if it's hard, then it's going to be hard. But the thing here is we can have fun while we're doing it as well. It may not feel like fun right there and then. That's why sometimes we need to step back and understand what we're doing, or what we're going through, or what we actually have in our hands. Why? Because that's the gratitude. And if we can have some gratitude about what we've got and what we're doing, wow, where is it going to go next for you? So to really sum it up here, it is that it's not too late for the end of the year. It's okay now. Now this is the period whereby we are starting to approach the runway. We're going in there for landing. We're going in there to get to our destination. So for you now, as a pilot, as a leader, it's time for you to go off autopilot, to take your hands on the steering wheel, whatever you want to call it, the stick, that you're flying in the cockpit, and it's now for you to become that deliberate pilot, that deliberate leader, to go in there and have a great landing. Now, the thing here is this, is that your business will have, just like you and I have, when you and I go to the doctor and we see the doctor checks on certain things to see how healthy or how sick we are. They're called vital signs. And so for you and your business, you will have some vital signs, metrics, KPIs, whatever you want to call them. The same thing for you as a leader. There'll be some vital signs for you. As I said, mindset, and there's a whole lot of other stuff. So check in with yourself, see how you're going, but start to prepare for that landing in the airport and making sure that you take control of the cockpit. Hey listeners, it's always a pleasure being with you. That's it for today. So thanks for joining me on the Leadership is Changing podcast. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.